If a man is depressed, it doesn't mean that he will be able to fully accept this. He can then do just about everything that he can to hide what is going on for him from both himself and others. One of the ways that he can do this is by more or less always being on the go and being focused on achieving things. Additionally, he can do what he can to create a certain image in order to receive positive feedback from others. What this will do is help to keep how he feels at bay, and thereby make it easier for him to deceive himself and others. Due to how effective this approach is, he might rarely if ever come into contact with his true feelings, and the average person might not be aware of what is going on for him. Naturally, it is going to take a lot of energy for him to maintain this act, as if he was to slow down and be less focused on the external world, he might soon come into contact with a lot of pain. If he was to come across a man who is expressing what he himself is doing his best to avoid, he could end up criticizing him and seeing him as weak. He could believe that he needs to pull himself together and get over what he is going through. This could be seen as something that he will be able to do by taking action. Along with this, he might say to himself that he needs to start working out, controlling his thoughts and emotions, and achieving things. Based on this, it will be clear that he believes that being depressed is a sign of weakness and reflects an inability to handle life. Most likely then, if he was to face how he feels, he would no longer see himself as a real man. Therefore, it is not a surprise that he himself is unable to acknowledge that he is depressed. To maintain the view that he has of himself as a strong and capable man, he will have to block out what is really going on for him. However, although he might generally be able to do this, there could come a point in time when it is no longer possible for him to do this. This could be something that takes place as he gets older and his energy drops, or it could happen after he experiences a loss of some kind. So, let's say that he ends up experiencing a loss. This can be a time when he will end up in a very deep hole. He will then have very little, if any, energy, and he won't be able to avoid how he feels by doing and achieving things. Assuming that he is in this position, he could believe that there is nothing that he can do, and he could contemplate ending his life. What this is likely to show is that he doesn't feel comfortable reaching out. He will then be in a very bad way, but, for some reason, ending his life will be seen as his only option. This will illustrate that he feels trapped, and as though he has absolutely nowhere to go. Then again, he might not think about ending his life, but reaching out might not be seen as an option. He could then be surrounded by people, but he may as well be on an island in the middle of nowhere. Regardless of if he is contemplating ending his life or not, the reason that he is unable to reach out for support is likely to be the same reason why he was unable to acknowledge that he was depressed before. If he had done this, he would have probably experienced shame, and it is likely to be shame that is holding him back now. If he had opened up about what was going on for him he might have expected to be humiliated and rejected, and he can believe that this is what will happen if he opens up now. One way of looking at this would be to say that this is a consequence of living in a society where men are largely expected to be strong and emotionless at all times, to be seen as real men. Another way of looking at this would be to say that even though the conditioning that he received from society will have played a part, what is likely to have played a bigger part is what his early years were like. This may have been a stage of his life when he was deprived of the love that he needed to develop a healthy relationship with himself. For example, he might have had a mother and perhaps a father who was emotionally unavailable and didn't attune to a number of his needs and feelings. Along with this, he might have often been criticized and left when he expressed certain needs and feelings. As he was egocentric, he would have come to believe that there was something wrong with a number of his needs and feelings. He would have also come to believe that he would only be accepted if he hid parts of himself and played a role. Of course, many years will have passed since he was a powerless and dependent boy, but deep down he won't realize this. The wounded child parts inside him will have played a part in why he created a disconnected, false self. For him to become an integrated human being and real, as opposed to playing a very restrictive role where he is a caricature of a man, he is likely to have a lot of pain to face and work through. This is something that will take courage and patience and persistence. So if you are a man who is in this position, then it will be a good idea for you to reach out for the assistance that you need to gradually move forward, because there are plenty of people out there who will be understanding. They won't shame you or judge you, and they will provide you with the support that you need during this time in order to work through the pain that is inside you, because your needs and feelings are not bad, and not being strong all the time and having it all together doesn't mean that you are not a man. So with that said, please reach out for the assistance that you need to gradually change your life. If you would like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.